Welcome to a new video on my channel. Today I will be having a look at Terran Orbital, since they announced the general meeting of shareholders to approve the business combination. Will be scheduled on March 2020, and therefore it's only a few days left. Therefore I wanted to have a look at the company, since there have been a few similar companies which went public via SPAC before, like BlackSky, maybe Redwire, and Planet Labs. So these are in my opinion, three companies which are most similar to Terran Orbital. So, what is the mission of Terran Orbital, or how do they describe themselves? They describe themselves as leader in small satellites, and their mission is to build the world's most advanced Earth observation constellation. And they have a really nice background. I like it. I like the stars and generally the orbit. It's very interesting, and therefore I also had a look at the investor presentation, and I'll just put it on screen. So first of all, which I think it's most likely for all these companies, they have ties within the US government, which is very important because most of the parts of the revenues comes from the agencies like NASA, and also private or public companies like SpaceX, for example. Therefore it's always important to have these connections within the governments, which I think is a positive sign. And the next thing I wanted to have a look is the facilities, and if you have seen a rendering of a company, at least my understanding is always that this have to be treated cautiously. However, in this case they want to add a facility near the urban facility, which they already have right now, and they estimate that there should be with this new company facility an output of more than 1,000 small satellites, and the actual manufacturing facility will be around 660,000 square feet. And I wanted to check what their facility right now is, and therefore I found an article on TechCrunch, and it says that the facility in Urban right now has around 130 square foot facility, and the current output of the satellites they build right now is not known according to them. However, if you can scale it up around 5x, so probably it has a max of 200 small satellites. However, I think it's less, so otherwise they would have put it up. Then it was also interesting that the facility is built in partnership with Space Florida, so it's always good to have the authority in or helping you building the facility you need. So the next one is the partnership with Lockheed Martin, which I want to stress, because on the one hand it's their strategic relation partner, and on the other hand they are also an investor, which in case is a favorite situation you want to be in, because then you also as company have both advantages. On the one hand you have a partner, on the other hand, if the partner is investor, they also want the best of your part normally, and this is something really good in my opinion. Also Lockheed Martin is a pretty big company which will help them a lot in scaling and everything they need if they want to have some information about this. As I mentioned before, they also have partnerships with SpaceX and the NASA, which is important, I think, and a good sign in general. On the next thing I wanted to have a look at, so as we mentioned before, the mission, on the one hand small satellites, and on the other hand Earth observation. So this is the first of the two segments. The first will be the satellite solutions, and as you can see, the urban capacity, the expansion of the capacity is put in here. I didn't find a real number, but it should be around 2022 and or 2023, and you can see the ramp up, or the projected ramp up, and later on they should be opening another facility. I think it's in, was it Jacksonville? I'm not sure, to put it up on the side again. Was the first? No. I'll have to look it up. I think there's another one which should also be pretty big. Another facility later on. So it makes sense if they can execute with these new facilities, then it makes sense that they can deliver way higher output than before. However, as always, if you have projections which are like 30 times bigger within 5 years, it's always something to keep in mind that these projections are ambitious, at least. So the next part I wanted to show you is the Earth observation constellations. Right now they don't have any satellites in orbit, and they plan to have 2 satellites in orbit within 2022, and then later on 16 in 2023, and they want to add additional 16 or 32 in 2024 and 2025. And then their goal is to have 96 satellites in orbit by 2026. And as you can see, the revisit dates rate is significantly lower with every year. At least this is what they project, and makes sense in my opinion. And they will employ game-changing technology. At least this is what they claim, and they want to do this by better or more efficient antenna, and also better spacecraft technology, and with these constellation effects which they demonstrated before, that they have a revisit time which is getting lower and lower, which should help in general. So this is something which they roughly mapped out. However, it's still in the future, therefore they have no proof until now. So then so this is the combined forecast for the revenues, and as you can see right now they have 25 million in 2020. The numbers for fiscal year 2021 are not out right now, however they project 35 million, and then for the future they project quite high growth in the future. As I mentioned before, keep these numbers in mind. If they can execute like this, then this would be fantastic, I think. However, I'm a bit skeptical if they can hit these numbers. Nevertheless, if they won't be executing as they planned right now, and they have still some buffer, even if they don't execute as mentioned. But I think crucial will be the years 2022 and 2023, because if they won't be delivering in these years, then it's very unlikely that the succeeding years will be or they will meet revenues in this range as they're projecting right now. So therefore I think the next year, or fiscal year 2022 and 2023, will be crucial. And this is also something I put in here for the overview of the projections for the developments of EBITDA, or adjusted EBITDA in this case, and also for the unleveraged adjusted free cash flow, since they plan, they plan to be adjusted EBITDA positive within 2023, and they want to be adjusted free cash flow positive by 2024. And then, as you can see, the revenue should be growing almost by 55%. So these are huge growth rates, and if they can execute, then this company will be, I think, a good company in the future. However, as I mentioned before, I'm a bit skeptical. So, and I think this is also, if you come back on slide 26, if you want to go from 25 million to 2.6 billion in revenue within 6 years, it's 100x or more than 100x, and this is very, very ambitious in my opinion. So then I think it's, as always with the specs, you have the numbers, the cash, how long does it take for them to be profitable, and do they need to raise more cash? And they had an overview of the transaction on page slide 3. Former enterprise value around 1.6 billion, as I mentioned before, and post-transaction they will have around 330 million in cash, and they plan that they don't have no additional funding to, or before they want to achieve the profitability. So this is always good, I think. However, as I mentioned before, numbers are really ambitious. Keep this in mind. So in the beginning, I told you that there have been some other companies which went public via specs within this area, and how did they perform? So one is BlackSky, and if you look at the 6-month chart or even 1 year, after despacking, they went up a little bit, and then afterwards down, and the end of the year was the beginning when they really dramatically lost value, and right now they have less than 80% of the initial deal value. I think the initial, let me just check, the pro forma equity enterprise value was 1.1 billion. So now it's a lot less. Just for comparison, and the next one would be Planet Labs. And I also go to the 1 year, as you can see, similar pattern, a little bit up, around 11%. And then afterwards sharply down, around 40%, and now they're around 50% of the initial value. And just check over here. I think this is something interesting if you want to put it in here. First, the enterprise value. Yep, there it is. It's 2.25 enterprise value for Planet Labs, and they also project lower revenues, or revenue growth in the future, as you can see. So Planet Labs is valued higher, or was valued higher, and held up quite good, and their numbers are not as high, or at least they don't project as high as numbers as the company Terran Orbital has. So this is, as I mentioned before, if the execution is good on Terran Orbital, then this could be a good idea. So, and then there are two other companies, Redwire, which held up quite good. even though it was down around 50%. Now it's at 760 almost, and Satellogic, which also recovered quite nicely in the last few days and weeks. So there's some hope. And yeah, so it will be interesting what the company Terran Orbital in this case, how it will perform. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you the anticipation right now. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit late because I initially planned to record the video on Tuesday, but couldn't make it. And as you can see, share price has been falling. However, in after hours they recovered a little bit, so will be interesting to see how they perform and how the business or the vote for on a shareholder meeting will be. How many redemptions? Yeah, so I'm not invested right now, but I will be looking at it closely, and especially probably after fiscal year 2022. This should be interesting to see how they execute, and therefore, yeah, I'll have a look at it in the future again. And as I meant, or as always, it's no financial advice. You have to do your own due diligence and before you buy, and do it at your own risk. Yeah, so hope you like the video, and we'll be having a look at the company in the near future again and see how they execute it. Until next time, have a good day. Bye bye.